So especially as of recently, I've been seeing more people online for whatever reason more than ever say that dividend investing or talk about the fact that dividend investing is not worth doing, that it's a waste of time and that you'll never be successful from doing it. Now maybe I take this a bit personally because over the past 8 or so years, I've been spending a ton of my active income buying into dividend paying stocks and ETFs, so much to the point to where I currently now have well over $1 million invested and right now earn around $94,000 per year in dividend income alone. Now they constantly are saying that dividend investing is not worth it, but please take it from me, someone that has taken dividend investing very, very seriously, maybe the most seriously over the past decade or so. It is 100% worth it. It has completely changed my life for so many different reasons. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why I think dividend investing is worth doing and why it can be a great strategy as far as investing goes completely. I'm also going to go through some different math and share with you guys the numbers just to once again prove my points. So whether you're a dividend investor as of right now, or maybe you want to become one, make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into it. My A to Z dividend investing ebook has helped countless dividend investors get started with their journey. And my custom dividend tracker that I'm constantly using here on the channel has also helped so many investors stay on track and allow them to see their dividend income in real time. Well, today I have another treat for you guys. I'm not only going to offer you my A to Z dividend investing ebook and the custom dividend tracker, but also just for a short limited time, I'm going to be adding in my brand new weekly dividend blueprint ebook to show you how you can get started with weekly dividend ETFs and add this into your investing strategy. This offer is not going to last long, so go ahead and click the first link down below in my description, and you're going to get both ebooks and the custom dividend tracker bundle. But like I said, please act fast because this won't be around for long. Now let's get back into the video. So again, just to back things up for a second, when I was 24 years old, I opened up a Robinhood portfolio and started buying dividend paying stocks with just a small amount of money and just sort of started learning things, doing research, and within a year or so built a sizable portfolio, I think north of $10,000 total, that was paying me several hundreds of dollars per year in dividends. Now the thing that I specifically remember, especially in the early days of dividend investing, I started buying shares of ticker symbol Realty Income, which back in those days was around $60 or so per share. And I know as of right now, Realty Income has not been doing amazing because it's a REIT, so it's not necessarily up from there. But even back in those days, Realty Income was paying me say 21 cents per share per month. So every time I got my hands on a share of Realty Income, maybe a share or two here and there inside my Robinhood portfolio, I would then the next month receive an extra 21 cents deposited into my brokerage accounts. Now, because I've always been sort of a hustler and a very hard worker, I realized early on that if I can get my active income up as fast as possible, as soon as possible, and buy as many dividend paying stocks and ETFs as possible, that I can then basically build an entire new income stream, which then would be completely separate from my active income, because let's be real here, dividend investing is probably one of the truest forms of passive income that exists. So fast forward over the years, like you guys have seen, I built up a sizable portfolio that now, as of this point, around 8 or so years later, has not only surpassed all my expenses on a yearly basis, but a lot more than them. So when I see people online say that dividend investing is not worth doing or that dividend investing will never work, again, I take it a little bit personally because it's 100% worked for me. So much so to the point to where if I never want to make another dollar actively, my dividend income would for the most part pay for everything and then some. But don't take my word for it, go through some basic math on your own like this. A $10,000 initial starting principal investment into a high quality dividend growth ETF like SCHD, an ETF that tracks an index focused on the quality and sustainability of dividends. Now, for example, a $10,000 investment into SCHD and then $2,000 annually from there, with an ETF that yields around 3.7%, increases their dividend on average around 10% per year, 5% annual share price appreciation, 30 years invested. So again, if dividend investing is not worth doing, if it's never going to work, why are these numbers turning out the way that they are? So sure, in the early days of investing, the $10,000 principal investment's only going to earn you $370 per year in dividends. Now I get why that might not necessarily seem like it's worth your time. But again, if you extrapolate out and stay the course, reinvest those dividends back into more shares of more dividend paying stocks and ETFs. If you did it for as long as I've been investing so far, which again, I haven't even been investing that long, around 8 or 9 years, you would have already tripled, almost quadrupled your principal and now be earning a substantial amount of dividend income compared to the start. But even look out further than that, around 30 years down the road, you're talking an $810,000 portfolio towards the end of it with around $100,000 per year in dividends on average. Now again, this is with a $10,000 initial portfolio. Let's say you had $12,000 or $15,000. Let's say you added $10,000 per year or $20,000 per year. Let's say that every single year you take your tax refund check and even buy more dividend paying stocks or ETFs. Whatever the case might be, the numbers are the numbers, and over a long enough time frame, even with a relatively tiny amount of money invested, you can turn a small portfolio into a massive one based off of just one simple example, the stats that SCHD has. And to be fair, I like to use this ETF as an example because it's honestly one of the best out there. But the reality is that you can go through multiple different ETFs like VIG, the Vanguard Dividend Appreciation ETF, which once again is a large cap equity ETF emphasizing stocks with a record of growing their dividends year over year. You can go through and look at different dividend paying stocks and ETFs, look at their performance since inception, and again ask yourself, is dividend investing honestly worth it? Not to mention there's an entire different strategy around dividend investing to begin with. More income-focused investors that buy things like JEBQ, the JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium Income ETF, which is an ETF that I currently hold in my portfolio, but I personally don't have a large portion of my portfolio bought into it. But in theory, an investor that buys a share of JEBQ, for example, which costs around $55 per share, is going to be earning around 40 cents, maybe 45 cents, more or less per share per month. And the crazy thing about this is that, let's say you have a few bills like I was talking about earlier, that you want to use dividend income on a consistent basis, again for this ETF coming in monthly, to pay your bills consistently. Now with something like JEBQ that has a 10% yield more or less and pays around 45 cents per share per month, let's say you had an $80 cell phone bill, you would only need just over 100 shares of JEBQ, for example, in order to pay your cell phone bill completely off the dividend income from this one single ETF. So whether you're buying dividend growth style ETFs like SCHD, buying into single stocks, or buying into higher yielding ETFs like JEBQ, or maybe DIY your portfolio and do a little bit of both. Like for example, I have 1,001 shares of Apple stock, but then I also have almost 3,000 shares of QLD. You can definitely use dividend paying stocks and ETFs to build the lifestyle that you want to achieve, and I know that for a fact because I have literally done that over the last decade. So even though there's a ton of investors out there for whatever reason that are constantly saying that dividend investing is not worth it, it's not worth getting the 20-cent dividend or whatever the case might be, I promise you that those small amounts of money are going to add up over time. And especially if you extrapolate out a decade, 2 decades from now, you might be sitting on more dividend income than you know what to do with. So now that we talked about it and I sort of went on a rant on why I personally do think that dividend investing is worth it, and I gave you guys multiple different reasons on why I promise you that it is. I lastly want to hear from you guys down below. Be honest with me, I won't take it personally. Do you personally think that dividend investing is something that's worth doing? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.